Students, how are you? Hope this video will find you healthy and prosperous. This is Samreen Hashmi, and the topic which we are going to discuss today is the pharynx and esophagus. As we are discussing the digestion in humans, and in the previous lecture discussed the oral cavity. So after the bolus formation in the oral cavity, the next step during the swallowing is the movement of bolus from pharynx towards the esophagus. So when bolus is formed here in the oral cavity, the bolus is pushed towards the esophagus through pharynx. This is done by the rolling action of the tongue, and tongue pushes the bolus towards the esophagus through pharynx. Pharynx is a muscular hollow tube, and its size is of almost 5 inches. And the rolling action of the tongue, which moves the bolus towards, or which pushes the bolus towards the esophagus through pharynx. So when tongue pushes the bolus towards the pharynx or esophagus, the palate plays an important role in it, and in this swallowing. The soft palate. The palate can be divided into two portions: the hard palate, and the posterior is the soft palate. When the bolus is swallowed, the soft palate moves upward and towards the rear. It means backward. When it moves upward and towards the back or backward, its openings of nasal cavity are closed. So in this way, the bolus moves through the pharynx. The bolus enters here in the pharynx, and from the pharynx it moves towards the esophagus. Esophagus is also a tube-like structure, and its size is about 10 inches. It has a special mechanism through which the food particles are prevented to enter into the trachea or a windpipe. Bolus moves towards the esophagus in this way that the tongue pushes the bolus towards the pharynx, and pharynx then from pharynx then bolus enters into the esophagus. At the same time, the larynx, that is the top part of the trachea or windpipe. This is trachea or windpipe. Its top part, or its top or upper part, is called as larynx. The larynx move during swallowing. The larynx move upward. Due to this upward movement, the epiglottis, that is a flap of cartilage. A flap-like structure is present at the opening or opening of trachea. This opening is called as glottis, and this opening is guarded by, we can say that guarded by a flap of cartilage that is called as epiglottis. When bolus is swallowed, at the same time the larynx moves upward, and due to this upward movement, the epiglottis is forced to be closed, so in a horizontal position. So in this way, the trachea or the windpipe, the opening of trachea or windpipe is closed, and the food is prevented to enter into the trachea, and the bolus enters into the esophagus, and then from esophagus into the stomach. Okay, the beginning of swallowing is voluntary. We eat or we swallow by our will, or it's a voluntary action. But once the food is swallowed and it moves towards the pharynx or esophagus, then its movement is involuntary, or it can be called as automatic. So after swallowing, the bolus enters into esophagus from the pharynx, and after esophagus it enters into the stomach. Neither pharynx nor esophagus, both these parts do not contribute in the digestion of bolus or food, but they just transfer the food from the mouth cavity or oral cavity towards the stomach. While passing through these structures, the digestive action of saliva continues, and the bolus finally enters into the stomach. An important term that is related to the movement of food from the oral cavity to the rectum or throughout the alimentary canal is called as peristalsis. We can define peristalsis as the rhythmic wave of contraction and relaxation in the smooth muscles of the walls of the alimentary canal. So peristalsis is the process through which food moves from the pharynx or esophagus towards the rectum, or we can say the last part of the large intestine. So diagrammatically, we can explain it as, these are the walls of alimentary canal, and definitely these walls are made of smooth muscles. So this is the movement of bolus. This is the direction of movement of bolus. So there is a rhythmic muscle contraction and relaxation, like this. Here muscle contract and they move bolus downwards, and here muscle relax, so bolus can easily pass from here. Sometimes a condition is caused that is called as retroperistalsis, that is opposite of peristalsis. It can also be called as vomiting, and the cause of this retroperistalsis is irritation in the stomach, bacterial infection, food poisoning. Such processes stimulate or activate the emetic center in the brain, and in return the brain sends message for an vomiting reflex. As a result, the vomiting is caused, or that is called as retroperistalsis. In this way, the food moves, or we can say that partially digested food moves upward in the opposite direction. In the result of retroperistalsis, the movement of food is reversed and the vomiting is caused. So these were certain points regarding the role of pharynx and esophagus in the digestion in humans. Hope this will be informative for you. Please like and subscribe the video. Thank you so much.